Bob Bringle told us, "I have always considered Indiana Campus Compact to be a very significant contributor to my professional development in service learning and civic engagement." But any of the past faculty fellows could have said this. 20 years ago, Bill Clinton was president, the movie Jurassic Park was released, Microsoft launched its Windows 95 operating system, 19-year-old Tiger Woods won the U.S. Amateur Championship, and Donald Trump told Oprah Winfrey he would only run for president if America got really, really bad. While there are those who may believe America has gotten bad, the truth of it is there is tremendous good in the world, with many people developing and implementing wonderful ideas. One of these ideas also started 20 years ago when Richard Games, the then executive director of Indiana Campus Compact, had the seed of the idea for the Faculty Fellows Program and approached Bob Bringle about being the first senior faculty fellow for the first class. With Brian Hill-Tunin, the ICC program director, these three led the charge to develop a plan for the first Faculty Fellows cohort. This vision spurred the development of the Faculty Fellows, a program focused on providing individuals with a year-long learning community experience with other engaged scholars from Indiana Campus Compact partner campuses. Indiana Campus Compact is a partnership of college and university presidents and chancellors who have committed themselves and their institutions to their communities through mutually beneficial and meaningful collaboration to create engaged citizens and vibrant communities.
What motivated me was the desire to have students experience for themselves that with their training, even as undergraduates, there is much they could and should offer their communities.
Why and how does one become a faculty fellow? The reasons are as varied as the 100 fellows from 25 campuses in Indiana who have served in the 20 years of Faculty Fellows. Every picture tells a story, and every story provides a portrait of a life devoted to contribution, inspiration, and transformation.
Teachers can no longer afford to stay only in their classroom because we live in a different time where the scrutiny of teachers and the work that they do is more intense than it's ever been.
Great way for me to meet other people doing similar projects and to be able to get some knowledge and build my expertise in an area from an interdisciplinary foundation that was more interdisciplinary in nature, which is one of the things I love about Indiana Campus Compact.
The reflections by former faculty fellows cross, push, and redefine boundaries of teaching, scholarship, and service, and impact students and the community as well as the faculty. Many found in the Fellows Program a means to define the work they were already doing and to garner additional support. While the reasons varied for those who chose to become fellows, the motivation to include service learning and coursework often centered on the students and the ability to provide hands-on learning opportunities.
One instructor, 18 first-year college students. As the instructor begins to speak, he points to the screen where a course syllabus is projected. The words, "This is a service engagement course," stretch across the illuminated rectangle. Okay, so as you're probably aware, this English class is listed as a service engagement course. So I wanted to speak a little bit about that. Is everyone aware this is a service engagement course?
A close second was the motivation to make a connection between the academic community and the local community. Other fellows remarked that integrating service learning was a natural extension of the academic focus, such as social work, physical therapy, or recreation management. Tina Kruger at Indiana State University found that linking teaching, research, and service together helped her maintain a work-life balance. She develops community engagement projects where the students collect data, so they are learning research and critical thinking skills, which can then be used to make an impact for the community partner, as well as providing opportunities for scholarship.
I saw this as an opportunity to demonstrate that I was an integrated scholar, that my teaching was informed by and informed my service and my scholarship, and vice versa.
And yet, others question the feasibility of taking on the extra responsibilities.
When you really look at the most authentic assessment opportunities, they're really the community engagement and service learning projects. And I always come back to that: is community engagement and service learning worth the time, worth the resources, worth the memorandums of understanding, the amount of time it takes to facilitate those projects on a large scale, to drag that many students and their learning with you into the community? And I always come back to yes, because I find from an assessment standpoint, my students tend to achieve more towards the learning outcomes when I use authentic assessment strategies that integrate service engagement.
He's not alone in his questioning. While previous faculty fellows applaud the program and support the outcomes associated with service learning, they talk of the challenges facing service learning.
To make sure that you have students adequately oriented and trained and committed.
And I think that's kind of the key with setting those up. And it doesn't have to be anything difficult. It can be something really
Mark
simple.
Latta at Marian University observed that faculty become ingrained in their ways, and I think it's important to always be able to step back and say,
Can I be doing this differently? And if I did, what would that look like? I think the faculty fellows provide the space to do that.
Lisa Barrero, an assistant professor at the University of Indianapolis, laughs as she summed up her thoughts on the challenges.
Discussed as a group was, in addition to, how great service learning is and how it's so valuable for faculty and students and community members, and it's just this huge love fest for service learning. The other side of that is the realistic side, that it's messy and it's vague and it's ambiguous and it can drive you crazy. And I think that's something that has to be put out there, that yes, service learning is wonderful, but you have to work hard at it, kind of like the Faculty Fellows Program. You have to put in the work,
To tell the history of the Faculty Fellows would not be complete without sharing the transformation of students engaged in service learning. Jennifer Van Sickles at University of Indianapolis noticed that students changed their career path as a result of our service learning project with Special Olympics. After that project, 3 students have interned with the organization, and 2 of our students are now employed there. Students are constantly sharing with us how our project with Special Olympics completely changed their perspective about persons with intellectual disabilities. Changing stereotypes and opening minds is extremely rewarding and important for our community and society. Likewise, Susan Blackwell, now retired from the University of Indianapolis, commented, "The last 2 years I have taken students to Belize. All positive experiences. What it made me understand, based on student reflections, is that service learning was not just linked with a literacy course, it was about increasing understanding." Randall Osborne's student reflected, "Finally, a course that makes things real." And another declared, "I never thought I could do something like this. I feel so empowered." As the fellowship years progressed, lives were touched, transformation flourished, and the individuals in classrooms and communities engaged by the Fellows projects would never be the same. Friendships and professional partnerships that continue today were nurtured with existing colleagues as well as other fellows from around the state. Throughout our interviews, the fellows talked of the change in themselves. Some fellows continued for years. More often, others started as fellows for a year and then continued on with their careers. Many continued with service learning in their classes, and many are engaged with community service after retirement from university roles. The fellowship was the fuel that propelled service, scholarship, and teaching, and the dynamic overlapping among and challenges to balance them. The end or the beginning? Bob Bringle, who was there in the beginning, says, "It has been gratifying to see that the Faculty Fellows program continues for 20 years and has helped faculty in Indiana expand their work with service learning and civic engagement." Do you see yourself portrayed here? Are you ready to write your own Faculty Fellow story?